Welcome back to another Insider Texas Tech Hoops Report. I'm Jarret Johnson. I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Joe, you've had that crazy look in your eye and a little gleam because Red Raider basketball has returned. Texas Tech's 2-0. They haven't really been tested yet, but this new team's getting some seasoning. Started off, a couple blowouts. I think just overall, Joe, first, how do you feel about Red Raider basketball returning, and then what's your main takeaways from that 2-0 start?
Well, man, I'm ready to roll when it comes to basketball. I don't want it to end ever. So when it comes back, in some ways it seems like it was just yesterday that it was all over, and here we are starting all over again. It's been fortunately a quick, 5-6 months, something like that.
That's what happens when you make deep runs in the tournament.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. That makes a little bit of a difference. So, yeah, thrilled that it's all going again. And, I think I'm liking what I'm seeing from the team so far. Really am. The defense is still there. There's no question. I mean, now again, they haven't played anybody. I mean, even the exhibition against UTEP and everything. But I mean, they're putting the hammer down on people right from the get-go. I mean, teams are not scoring for the first 3-4 minutes of the game, so you can see what they can do on the defensive end. So that's as they say, the DNA of the program. There it is.
Yep.
And that's going to be a constant. So looking really good. I like the depth of the team. I like the newcomers. I think there are going to be some hitches offensively. I mean, they have a few dry stretches from time to time, but most teams do. You're not going to just go out there and score every other possession all the way through. You're not going to be constantly making runs. You're going to have some issues. But I do think that that's something they're going to have to work out, smooth out that offense, incorporate these new guys, and get all the pieces to mesh together. But I would say right now they're ahead of schedule.
Speaking of some of the new guys, I've been really impressed with, even more than I thought going into the season, but I've been impressed with the the grad transfers. Matt Mooney as a facilitator.
Yeah.
Just right off the bat, even the UTEP exhibition, but then of course through the first two games, the two wins, he's been very smooth out there, not just as a scorer, but as a facilitator, setting things up. And I think the main guy he's been looking for, even on like a lot of some of these lobs, which of course fans love, get them out of their chairs, their seats, to Tariq Owens. So what have you seen from Mooney and Owens so far?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I feel like Mooney could actually be scoring a lot more than he is right now. But it seems to me that, he's making a very conscious effort to look for other people. I mean, he's not trying to score all that much, and that's interesting for a guy who came from South Dakota State, averaged like 18 or 19 points a game. I mean, he's got this reputation of being a guy who can really fill it up, and he gets looks sometimes, but instead of taking them, he's looking for somebody else. So he's just been extremely unselfish, very patient. As a slick ball handler. I mean, he really gets inside the traffic, doesn't bother him. He can get in the lane, and he's got a bunch of guys around him. Some guys will kind of panic and freak out in that sort of situation. He keeps his poise and really looks in control when he's playing out there. Owens obviously is just a complete maniac of an athlete. Not only is he lengthy and 6'10" guy, but a 6'10" guy who can really fly and get up in the air. And obviously a great shot blocker. He had that one stretch of like 3 shot blocks in a row against the last, was it Incarnate Word or
I think it was Incarnate Word.
Incarnate Word. And
on one possession, 3 blocks.
On one possession, 3 blocks.
That was exciting. That was fun.
That's just a glimpse of what he can do. So he's as advertised, and a lot of fun watching those guys play.
What do you think about freshman Kyler Edwards? I think he's been pretty good off the bench.
Definitely a little bit of a surprise. I think, at least for me, he was just extremely aggressive on the offensive end. He's a very confident player. You expect, a freshman to come in, and especially early in his freshman season, to maybe be a little bit hesitant, and not with Kyler Edwards. That guy, he gets the rock and he gets a look at it. It's going up.
Yep.
So you better be ready to rebound. And he's making a lot of shots. He's not just jacking up a bunch of bad shots and missing everything. I think he's shooting over 50% from the floor.
Wow.
And most of that stuff is coming from outside. So he's really adding some much needed offensive punch, which this team is going to need. Losing a guy like Keenan Evans last year, you're going to need some scoring coming in from these new guys, and it looks like Edwards can provide it.
You know, I've been surprised at how solid he's been. Like, he's bigger, I guess wider, you know, built better than I thought he would be, having not seen him before he hit campus, you know, in person. All right, Southeast Louisiana coming up Tuesday night, 6:30. You know, I think they're 1-2 on the season, but that's a pretty good program. They make, you know, they normally make it to the tournament. I know they did last year. What's your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, you know, it's Southeast Louisiana should be better than they are right now. I mean, I believe they actually won the Southland Conference last year. And I mean, that's the conference that produced Stephen F. Austin, and nobody's going to forget the very tough game that Stephen F. Austin gave Tech in the first round of the NCAA tournament last year. I mean, that was a white knuckle job right there. So they got some teams in that conference now. But in Southeast Louisiana returns a lot of players. But I watched a lot of that Nebraska game that they just played, where they lost by 50-something points, I think it was, or close to that. And did not look good at all.
Oh, yeah, I guess not.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it was just, I didn't expect it. Now, Nebraska is a good team. Trust me right now. They're not in the top 25, but they should be, and they will be. They're really, really good. And Tech may wind up playing Nebraska on down the road in this tournament up in Kansas City. So that's going to be something to look forward to. But immediately, Southeast Louisiana, I'm sorry, from what I saw, they don't stand a chance. This shouldn't be a whole lot different from these first two opponents that Texas Tech has played, and they can't handle Texas Tech's length. That's going to be the big deal. Nebraska is a long team, particularly on the defensive end, blocking shots, deflecting things, and Southeast Louisiana just never looked remotely comfortable on offense. They were struggling for everything, and Texas Tech is that same sort of team. So I think this is a terrible matchup for Southeast Louisiana, and Tech will roll.
All right. Hey, one final question. National Signing Day, the early signing period, at least for basketball, coming up this week. And Texas Tech just picked up a huge commitment from Jamias Ramsey, 6'4" guard, 4-star guy, top 40 player. He's been described as some analysts, national analysts, as a program lifting type of talent. What's your opinion on what you've seen from Jamias?
You know, the main thing that strikes me is he is a Chris Beard sort of a player.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I mean, that's his kind of a guy, because, I mean, he's a demon on the defensive end. I mean, that's what's really going to just be, I mean, does this team really need another stopper, like another shutdown guy? But he's going to be a lock you up sort of a guy. Gary Payton, maybe, if you go on back. That's the glove. I mean, Tech may have its own glove, you know, a red and black glove. And that's what I like the most about him. I mean, he can do a lot of other things. He's got the whole package. A guy that as soon as he gets on campus, probably going to be in the starting lineup. You know, he's that kind of a caliber of player, and that's saying something, because, I mean, Texas Tech is going to have tons of talent next year, even if Culver goes, which it looks like he's got a pretty good chance of doing. But still, you know, I don't care. That guy is going to be on the court, and a huge, huge pickup. All
right, great stuff, Joe, as always. Thank you. Thank you all for watching, and until next time.